everybody. This is Alex Merced from alexmerced.com, and the following is a talk that I was planning to give at the Mid-Atlantic Liberty Festival in Pennsylvania this weekend. But due to a group of people who basically are against free speech and basically work to have the event shut down, the Mid-Atlantic Liberty Fest had been canceled. So in this case, I'm going to record the talk that I was planning to have so that way you can watch it and share it. So that way the ideas that were going to be spoken about at the Mid-Atlantic Liberty Fest still live on. Hello, my name is Alex Merced, and Ron Paul made me a libertarian in Manila. Now, how did Ron Paul make me a libertarian in Manila? Let me tell you the story. Now, during my college days, actually before I ever became a libertarian, I was actually very much to the left. I had my Michael Moore DVDs and books and voted for John Kerry. I was a man of the left. Although I did have my libertarian leanings. I did watch John Stossel as a kid. I did read Ayn Rand's Anthem when I was in 6th grade. But I was far from a libertarian still. But when I was in college, in Ohio, having grown up in Connecticut, I didn't have a car. So I couldn't drive the distances I needed to go see my favorite bands, play in concerts. So I innovated. And what I did is I created my own concert promotions company in order to book the bands I wanted to see over there in Bowling Green, Ohio, so that I could see my favorite bands and occasionally make a few bucks. But this ended up eventually becoming a conflict with my position as a resident advisor for the Bowling Green State University campus. So eventually I had to resign from my position as a resident advisor, which required me to leave campus. Now, I had a little bit of money saved up because it was the money that would have otherwise been spent on my room and board on campus if I wasn't a resident advisor. So I could go get an apartment off campus. But a friend of mine who was going through his own personal challenges at the time, and me, feeling a little bit of shame for having had to resign, we both had a chip on our shoulder, and we decided that we were going to show them that we can come back, and we can come back big. So we decided to open up a store, which ended up being a gaming store with like comic books, LAN gaming like Counter-Strike, and Magic the Gathering. It was a gaming hobby store that we labeled The Gamers Lounge in Bowling Green, Ohio. And it was a great venture. We made back our capital in the first couple months of business, although we were a couple young college kids, so we didn't understand the value of cash flow management. And later on that year, the store did have to close. So once again, I'm in a position where I'm feeling a little down on myself. It turns out because of my lower credit load I took to run the store, I had to take an extra semester in college. So I still had to rough it out another 6 months. And here I was working at McDonald's after owning a store, and actually one of my co-workers at McDonald's was the former owner of one of my competitors when I owned the gaming store. So we'd reminisce between our days of being business competition while flipping burgers at McDonald's. So to motivate myself, what I did is I bought a ticket to Manila to spend a month in Manila, Philippines, which still to this day one of the best months of my life. But while I was there, I rented an apartment. And the TV only had one English news channel, Fox News. So being a man of the left at the time, my immediate reaction was, well, that figures. And then there was one of the first GOP debates for the 2000 election season. So this is 2007, summer 2007. And it's that debate where Giuliani and Ron Paul have a discussion regarding blowback. And that's the first time when I necessarily hear someone from the right say something, or Ron Paul say something, I'm like, I actually really agree with that. That was the most sense I've heard anyone say in a while. And that got me to look more into Ron Paul. Now, it wasn't just that he made sense that really sold me on his ideas. It was him. Because as I learned more and more about Ron Paul, and you saw his consistency over the years, his willingness to say the things that people don't want him to say when everybody's telling you to say the opposite. When everyone's telling you to go along to get along. That consistency, that determination was really inspiring. And I find that figures like Ron Paul appealed a lot to younger people And a lot of people just were like, maybe it was just the ideas, but it wasn't just the ideas. It's because he was an aspirational figure. When you're young, you're idealistic. You believe in changing the world, and that's great. But everyone tells you can't hold on to that. You can't continue to believe you can change the world, that you will eventually become cynical, that everybody eventually breaks. But when you see someone like Ron Paul, who didn't break, who held on to his idealism and made change and made a difference, that's inspirational, especially to someone who is younger, who is struggling with that idea of this idealism they want to hold on to in a world that tells them they can't. That's why he appealed to young people, because he represented what many young people want to become, someone who can make change, someone who can hold on to their ideals. And that's how you communicate ideas. You need to have strong and good ideas, but you also need to be aspirational. Okay, you need to be compelling. You need to be persuasive. But you also need to be aspirational. Because if I see you and you're someone I would never want to be, it doesn't matter how good your ideas are, I'm not going to want to embrace your ideas. Okay? So it's every aspect of your life that communicates this. So how successful you are in your own life. And success doesn't necessarily, can be measured in many different ways. But are you happy? Are you healthy? Do you have quality relationships in your life? Do you have great knowledge that makes you a pleasure to discuss and a source of wisdom and skills that just make you someone who people want to have around? When people see that, when people see that you live a life that is successful in every way, they're going to want to emulate that, and that means they're also going to want to emulate your values. And if you happen to have libertarian values, well, that means they're going to want to emulate your libertarian values. Because that aspirational Ron Paul, well, again, there was seeds planted with Ayn Rand and Stossel once upon a time. It was the fact that Ron Paul represented that you could hold on to those ideas, and just the quality of his life, the how healthy he was, how that he rides a bike in the morning. All these parts of his story is what made him aspirational. And you can even say the same thing about Gary Johnson. When you hear about him speaking over the mountains, his consistency on the war on drugs, and things like that, he had those aspects as well. And on the left, Bernie Sanders, where you can find videos of Bernie Sanders talking decades ago about the same thing. Younger people want to believe that they don't have to let go of their ideals. So in that case, those people were people they could aspire to be. But everybody comes from a different angle in what they want to aspire to be. But the idea is that you need to be someone that people can aspire to. And people will aspire to you to be you, and they will emulate your values, and libertarian values will spread. So that means every day be thinking, how can I expand my knowledge? So that way I can be more of a joy in a conversation and share wisdom that people will find compelling. How can I expand my skills? So that way I open up economic opportunities. Because, doing these things also expand your liberty. You'll have more choices and what you can do with your own life as well. My health. What can you do to improve your health every day? What can you do to improve your relationships with others every day? You focus on these things. You focus on just living the best life you can and having the most quality relationships you can. People will aspire to your life, and they will aspire to your values. That's what it means to be an aspirational libertarian. And if we all aspire to be aspirational libertarians, we will inspire more and more, and the movement will grow more and more. Think of all your favorite libertarians. Think about what they represented. It wasn't just what they said, but it was also something about what they represented, whether it was their consistency, their principle, the ability which they communicated. There was something about them that you wanted to emulate. So think about how can you be someone that people want to emulate more, so we can become an aspirational libertarian. So thank you for listening to my talk, The Aspirational Libertarian. And please do share this talk so that way other people can hear it. And always be engaging in ideas. Always be learning more. Always be improving your health. Always just be living the best life that you can. Because one of the best ways to change the world is just to change your life for the better. So thank you very much. My name is Alex Merced from alexmerced.com. Have a great day. I look forward to talking to you later.